Hey everybody, welcome to this week's episode of Tips and Tools. We switched it up and we're doing it on Thursday this week, not Tuesday, because we had an awesome Chicago Fire player that joined us on Tuesday. So if you missed that, if you scroll back on all our feed, you'll be able to see that one. So today we are here with our National Director of Training, Ruben Nieves. Again, you guys, I'm sure, are now familiar with Ruben. He's joined us for the last 2 months here doing Facebook Lives. And for those of you who are on the role of a sports parent webinar with the Golden State Warriors yesterday, you may have seen Ruben talking about that. So want to welcome everybody and thanks so much for tuning in. I see we have some PCA staff joining, Marty Reed, Jenny, Jessica, Alonso Ortega, who says saludos, Ruben. So we want this to be interactive. We're going to be talking about being a good teammate for this week's episode. And as always, if you have other questions about different topics that you're dealing with, we have, again, PCA's National Director of Training, Ruben Nieves here. Ruben has been with PCA since 2001, so basically since the very beginning of our existence. And so he knows PCA's content in and out and is here to support you guys in this time. So Ruben, thanks for joining us.
Thank you, Casey. Hola, Alonso. Un abrazo para todos mis amigos allá en México. Gracias por estar con nosotros hoy.
Awesome. Sean Smith says, hey, Sean, thanks so much for joining. And again, also, I'm currently in the San Francisco Bay Area. Ruben is down in Fresno, California, and we'd love to hear from you all where you're tuning in from, where you're watching from, and look forward to chatting more. So just to kick it off, Ruben, can you talk about how PCA approaches the idea of being a good teammate? And we have teammates in all walks of life, on the sports
Yes.
field, in the workplace, your neighbors, but in the sports context, which obviously transcends the sports field, how does PCA approach that idea of being a good teammate?
Well, what I'd like to do, Casey, is invite folks to participate with me in an exercise that we often do in our athlete workshops when we get to this topic. And this exercise actually comes from PCA trainer Samantha Salvia, who is in Portland, Oregon. Samantha is not only a Rhodes Scholar, she's a national champion in the sport of field hockey and a world champion in the sport of ultimate frisbee. So someone who knows a lot about competition, teamwork, being a great teammate, and how that contributes to overall team success. So to get us started, I'm going to invite people in the chat, and Casey, I'll need your help with this.
Yes.
I want people to fill in this sentence for me. I don't like it when my teammates blank. So they're going to fill in that sentence. Casey, give me an example. How might you fill in that sentence? I don't like it when my teammates.
I don't like it when my teammates have negative body language.
Okay, wonderful. So let's see what other people contribute. And if you give me one or two or three of those, we'll go from there.
Perfect. And I see there's, over 20 people who are currently on live. So I want some of you who are watching right now to write in.
Yeah, we need their help.
Yep.
We need their help. And Casey, you won't be able to give me all of them, but give me, two or three.
So I don't like it when my teammates show negative body language. I don't like it when my teammates are late to practice. I don't like it.
Okay, give me one more. Give me one more.
How about I don't like it when my teammates place blame on others instead of being accountable. I'll stop there.
I bet everyone on our session here would agree with those things, that they don't like it when their teammates, their coworkers, their family members do those things that you described. So in the workshop, we accumulate a short list of those, Casey, and then we invite the participants to convert them to fill in this sentence. I like it when my teammates blank. So the first one you gave me was, I don't like it when my teammates have negative body language. So and we can get help from people out there in chat land too. How do we turn that into an I like it statement? I like it when my teammates.
I like it when my teammates are enthusiastic and clapping and showing positive body language.
Absolutely. Okay, so that's going on our list, okay? Another one you gave me was, I don't like it when my teammates are late. So convert that statement.
I like it when my teammates are on time and or early.
Yes, okay, so that, Casey, we're putting that on our list. The other one you gave me was, do you remember the third one you gave me?
I don't like it when my teammates place blame on others. So,
Oh, okay, beautiful. Okay, boy, important.
and
So
we
how
have
do
a
we convert?
couple other ones that have been chatted
Okay,
in that we can do too.
yeah.
Um, so Marty Reed wrote in, I don't like it when my teammates give up.
Okay, Marty, convert that into an I like it statement for us. I don't like it when my teammates give up, but you do like it when your teammates what? What does Marty give us?
Let's see. And then while she's typing, the other one from Jenny, I don't like it when my teammates don't give their best effort.
Okay, Jenny, let's convert that. Convert that into an I like it statement. And how about yours, Casey? The third one you gave me.
The third one, to turn it into an I like it statement, I would say, I like it when my teammates are accountable.
I like it when they're accountable. Okay, beautiful. So that's going on our list. You got three nice I like it statements for us, Casey. Let's see if Marty and Jenny give us a couple more.
Yep, and then here's another one from Alonso who said, Me gusta cuando mi equipo se esfuerza.
Yo no sabía que hablas español, Casey.
Un poco.
Read it to me one more time.
Me gusta cuando mi equipo se esfuerza.
Okay, so Alonso gave us an I like it statement. He said, I like it when my teammates give great effort. And
there we go.
So that would go ahead.
I was going to say he turned around Jenny's statement of, I don't like it when my teammates don't.
Beautiful. He did that for us. Gracias, Alonso. We haven't heard from Marty yet.
Marty, she just responded. So Marty said, I like it when my teammates always try no matter what the scoreboard says.
Okay, beautiful. So Casey, what we do with the athletes here is we've got these lists of things they like in their teammates, and then the challenge is for each one of them to do those things. So if you like it when your teammates keep trying, no matter what the score is, a great teammate is going to do that for the team, and so Casey, to answer your question, that was a long, fancy way of answering your question. That is one way PCA approaches the idea of being a good teammate. And all these statements, as you said earlier, Casey, yes, they apply in sports, but they apply in just about every other walk of life also.
And I would imagine that coaches or team captains could even take their teams through this type of exercise where it's like, let's talk about what we want our players to be, how we want them to be good teammates, and then let's put that on display and strive to be that way.
Exactly, Casey. I think if coaches want to do this with their team, run with it. Take it. We're grateful to Samantha Salvia for coming up with this concept and exercise.
Awesome. And so I know that, some of the people tuning in might have heard the term emotional tank and how everybody has an emotional tank that is either full or empty. And so curious, how does emotional tanks and that concept fit into being a good teammate?
Well, it fits in a big way, Casey. So we all have an emotional tank. When it's full, we perform better. We're more coachable, and we have better relationships with those around us when our emotional tanks are full. So a good teammate understands this and works really hard to be a great tank-filling teammate. They express appreciation. They praise their teammates, even when they fail or they make a mistake. They find ways to praise their teammates for the part that they did well. Yeah, so Casey, you missed the shot, but gosh, what a great move to get open for that 3-pointer. So they include, tank fill. Talk about tank draining, being excluded. One of the most powerful tank drainers. They include. And then, Casey, did you mention positive body language earlier?
Yes.
It's important what we say to our teammates, but even more important is our body language and what does it convey. So when I do this, Casey, what am I conveying to you?
You're excited, you're motivating, you're encouraging.
Okay, how about this, Casey?
You're over it.
So I didn't say a thing, but I communicated loud and clear to you, Casey.
Right.
So filling emotional tanks Great teammates understand this concept, they pay attention to it, and they take pride in being a great emotional tank filling teammate. Lead trainer Joe Tarasi, PCA lead trainer Joe Tarasi in Chicago, he says that high performing teams are emotional tank filling machines.
I love that.
I like
If you're
I
not
like
if you're
that
not
too.
feeling good inside, it's hard to play well. And so having your
Yes.
teammates lift you up is such a huge part. And I want to give a quick plug too. And Jessica Lacayo, our staff member who is on this feed, and she can chat this in from the PCA account. But right now, any athlete or coach or parent, honestly, anyone can take the course. Our Triple Impact Competitor online course is available for free, and we talk about specific tools that you can use to fill your teammates' emotional tanks and that you can use to be a good teammate. And so Jessica can chat that link in so that if you're interested in sharing it with your community, again, it's a 60-minute interactive online course, 100% free. We've had 8,000 people almost now take the course. So it'll just build on what Ruben has been talking about in terms of being a good teammate. So we've talked about emotional tanks and how that fits in. And now when we think about leadership and the different types of leaders that there can be and being a good teammate, maybe first, what is your personal definition of a leader or leadership?
Well, I'm not the one who made up this definition, and I've heard it come from a few people. Leadership is making those around you better. Anything that you do that makes those around you better is leadership. And with that definition, leadership can take a lot of different forms. And the online course that you just mentioned, Casey, there is a really nice section on what PCA calls leadership for all. High performing teams, as Joe Tarasi says, they are indeed emotional tank filling machines. High performing teams also get leadership from all directions, not just from the captain, not just from the star player. They get leadership from all directions. Jack Clark, the longtime, amazingly scoreboard successful and life lesson
Yes.
successful rugby coach at Cal, UC Berkeley, 20, it's hard to keep track of how many national championships he's won. Most of us, if we win 23 more, we'll catch up to Jack. So, but he says that to be a member of the Cal rugby team, leadership is a requirement. You must contribute leadership to be part of this team. And again, because Coach Clark also uses a broad definition of leadership, it's accessible to every team member. So one leader might be the vocal leader who's always pushing and yelling and encouraging. One person may never say a word during practice, but by the example they set, they lead the way. Some people might lead by providing a little bit of humor and lightheartedness at the right moment. So leadership can take lots of different styles, and we encourage athletes to reflect on themselves and their strengths and what they can bring to the particular team that they're on, because athletes could even play a certain type of leadership role on one team and a different type of leadership role on another team or in another situation.
That's such good advice. And I saw US Club Soccer tuned in and they're saying, hey, friends, our partners over at US Club. So thanks so much for joining. So yeah, I mean, I think you're totally right. There's all different types of leaders. And I loved that quote from Jack Clark, one of our National Advisory Board members. And I have to shout out too, Ruben is a national champion as well, a national champion coach. So in addition to Jack, Ruben, who we're speaking with now, is also a national championship coach.
Again, I've got 23 or 24 more to catch up with Jack, but I do. I'm on the scoreboard.
You're on the scoreboard. And we
Hey,
can, yeah.
Casey, when you think about yourself as a basketball player in your career, some people out there know that Casey was a very good, probably still a very good basketball player. What type of leadership do you think you brought to the teams you played on?
I think I was more of I would say a quiet leader, and I would just try to work really hard, and specific around like conditioning drills and trying to be on time, kind of doing the little things. So I would say I tended more to be a quiet leader. That's how I would define myself. I think that's how others would say about me, but that's kind of
Nice.
that was my MO.
Nice. I wanted lots of those types of players on my teams.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So let's talk about pushing teammates. So of course, filling emotional tanks, being supportive, that's extremely important. But for people watching, maybe thinking, but you have to push your teammates. You have to help them get better. You need
Yes.
to, make sure that they're getting better and trying their best. So how does that play a role in being a good teammate, and what does that look like when we think about the best way to motivate each other?
Yeah. Gosh, what a great question. So, our founder and former executive director, Jim Thompson, talked about the concept of competition versus cooperation and how champion athletes understand this and champion teams have a lot of this. And so what Jim means by that is that there are lots of times when it's super important to cooperate with your teammates and to support them. And that's clear. But there's also lots of times where you're competing with your teammates. So Casey, if you and I are the 2-point guards on the team, in practice, it's our role, it's our responsibility. A great teammate, I'm going to challenge you in every
Right.
drill. I'm going to push you hard. Hopefully, you're going to have to work harder than me against me in practice than you're going to have to work against the opponent in the game coming up.
That's being a good teammate.
That is being a good teammate and then, but now when Friday night game time comes and coach says, you're the starter and Ruben, you're coming off the bench. Now we're cooperating. Now we're supporting. I'm behind you all the way. I'm watching you. I'm watching your opponent. If I see something that your opponent is doing, hey, Casey, when you force your opponent to go to her left hand, she wasn't the same. I share that with you. And
Right.
when I come in for you, you're behind me all the way in the same with the same type of support.
So being a good teammate is pushing each other, and especially in practice, I love that. Competing for the same position, pushing your teammate is going to make them perform better during when it comes to game time, and vice versa.
Yes, and if you think if you think your teammate isn't giving the team what they're capable of or what the team deserves from them, a good teammate will find a way to address that too. But the way it comes across is really important. I can say, "Oh, Casey, you're being so lazy." Well, that's one way to say it. Hey, Casey, I know you can give us more than that. Can you crank it up enough? It has a different feel.
Right.
One is complaining and whining. One is asking you to be the best Casey Miller you can be for this team.
Right. That's such good advice. Scott Peterson wrote in, Patterson, tuning in from New Zealand. And I'd love to hear from the people who are watching right now, what does being a good teammate mean to you? And we have a resource on our website. I think it's called the 12 Ways to Be a Great Teammate that we can chat in here. But it's one of our most viewed pages on our website, just how it outlines all the different
Wow.
qualities to be a good teammate. And we're talking about a lot of that today. So I want to thank everybody who's tuned in right now. And I see Amy Manson joined as well. And again, write in, let us know what you think being a good teammate means. And also let us know where you're watching from. I got to give a shout out to PCA Seattle, which Ruben is rocking on his shirt, it looks like. We have a PCA Seattle chapter serving the state of Washington, as well as other chapters around the country. So would love to know where you're watching from to see if potentially there's a PCA chapter in your backyard. So anything else in terms of pushing teammates, or should we move on to the next topic about inclusion?
Yeah, let's talk about inclusion because that's so important.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so I think, in this day and age, I'm sure a lot of coaches and athletic departments and teams deal with that concept of inclusion and the importance of making sure people feel welcome. Can you talk about what that looks like in terms of being a good teammate?
Yeah. Casey, you might help me remember which national partner of ours has a saying, um, if you can play, you can play. Um,
If you
it's
can
it,
pay, you can play.
no, 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 no. Well, there's some organizations that go by that motto, but no, this one says, if you can play, you can play. So
Got it.
it's not about anything. other than your ability in that gym, in that pool, on that track. It
Right.
doesn't matter what color your skin is. It doesn't matter how old you are. It doesn't matter your gender. If you can play, you can
I
play.
think that the organization you're thinking of is one of our trusted resources called You Can Play.
Oh, okay. There it is.
Yep.
Okay, thank you. I had a feeling you would know it. So, um, yeah, and so you know, boy, you know, the idea of a team is to come together and be the best you can be. And if you don't welcome all team members and work constantly to lift up all team members, you're going to fall short of your potential. You're going to fall short of your potential. So, you know, a team of athletes, those athletes have a lot in common, but they also are individuals with unique differences. And again, this isn't easy. Most teams fail at this, quite honestly, Casey. They fail at this. But the teams that succeed at it, those are the ones that have a shot at becoming champions. Is to put those differences behind, and when we're together, we're together. And you know, nothing matters but what you do to help this team. If you can play, you can play with me. You can play with me. So the other part about inclusion, Casey, and this is where some teams get into trouble and get off track, is the idea of initiations. There's nothing wrong with initiation as long as it's positive and truly is inclusive and welcoming. Where it goes off track is when it turns into hazing, when we force new young players to do stuff that is unhealthy, embarrassing, uncomfortable, and supposedly it's to prove that you want to be on this team. And over we hear from great athletes and coaches, champions all over the world, including in New Zealand and in Mexico, that hazing is detrimental. It does not, who said this? It does not make the boat go faster. This came from a rowing coach. If hazing is going to make our boat go faster, okay. But I have never seen hazing make our boat go faster. So the alternate is some kind of positive. You can initiate, but do it in a positive way. Hey, we're all going to get together and cook dinner. We're all going to go and watch the field hockey team compete.
Right. I think we
Yeah.
have maybe Jessica can find it. There's a video of Pat Fitzgerald, who's the head football coach at Northwestern University in the Big Ten, that talks about his approach to not hazing and why. And so I think that would be an awesome resource to share here, just so to get
Yes.
another perspective of a very high level, high performing team and coach about why they do not do hazing. So
Yeah.
I think that's such a
Yeah.
good point, Ruben.
Casey, Coach Fitzgerald, instead of hazing, he does not tolerate hazing in this program. Instead, he has a structured mentor program where upperclassmen are paired with the freshmen, and it's all about support and guidance.
Right. So I want to get to Brandon Wald's question because this was something that we talked about as well, or that we talked about talking about. So Brandon was talking about social media and that he said, Snapchat was the bane of my existence last season. This is the area where teams splinter off and form cliques. And so he said
Okay.
teams need to have social media contracts in place. We actually have a social media agreement that coaches can use with their players. And so we can definitely share that resource as well. But any thoughts about being a good teammate through social media and how coaches can help foster a positive environment through social media use?
Yeah. Did you say that question came from Brandon Wald?
Brandon Wald, yeah, who is from
Oh,
Toronto. He's tuned into
oh,
a couple other ones too.
okay. Because we know Brandon Whiting and we know Jake Wald. I was wondering if. Okay, so from Toronto. Yeah. So social media in some ways has complicated coaching because now that's another area that we have to provide guidance, instruction, guardrails, and coaching on. Okay, I don't know what sport Mr. Wald coaches, but he's got to coach his athletes on Snap. I think the example he gave was Snapchat.
Right.
So okay, that's part of being a modern coach. And first of all, ignoring it and not talking about it isn't going to make it go away. And, that's not the answer. So start by, the kids have a lot of experience with social media, probably more than us. Start by asking them, how can we use social media in a way that makes our boat go faster? What are the pitfalls? What are the things we have to avoid that could slow down our boat? And they'll say, talking behind other people's back or excluding people. And I do think that athletic departments, sports clubs, school teams should have some kind of guidance, structured policy, and hey, if you're going to be on this team, this is part of the deal.
Right.
You're going to live up to this.
Right. Absolutely. Yeah. And I think Brandon said he coaches volleyball. So I think the point you made of not ignoring it and addressing it head on and educating yourself as a coach who might not be familiar with TikTok or Snapchat or, any other platform that's coming out, take the time to learn about it and address it head on, and also encourage parents to do the same rather than just ignoring, because it's not going to go away and it won't get better if you don't address it.
I think social media policies are a real opportunity for coaches to empower their athletes, give them ownership of an area, an important area that they have a lot to contribute to.
Right. Yeah. And Brandon said they create group chats within larger group chats. And yeah, I mean, it's hard, especially, just with the younger generation dealing with those cliques and trying to foster that team environment. And Ruben, I'm wondering, I'm thinking back, I think it was part of in a book that Jim Thompson wrote, but the concept of you don't have to be necessarily friends with all of your teammates, but you have to respect and you have to care about them. Can you speak to that concept a little bit more and just how it might play into the team dynamics?
Yeah. Your teammates, and teammates, some teammates are best friends and some aren't. And my national championship team was not free of conflict in 1997. We had conflict. We had personality clashes, but that team wanted to win. And you know what? So when they stepped into the gym, they left all that behind, and when they left the gym, it wasn't all 17 of them, singing Kumbaya. It wasn't, they went off their separate ways. They avoided bad mouthing each other. I mean, Casey, if you're my teammate, if I don't like you struggling, or having a low emotional tank, it hurts me.
Right.
And it hurts our team. So, if people take pride and they say they're competitive. Okay. People take pride in being competitive. Being competitive means that you do what Jim Thompson said. You put differences aside, and you know what? I don't have to like you to play with you and win with you.
Right.
We're going to, so I think that's some of what Jim Thompson was alluding to.
Yep. That's a great message. We're asking.
Casey, one other thing about the social media,
Yes.
I think one of the Golden State Warriors at one point announced or said that the Warriors actually use social media positively, and it's part of why their team chemistry is so strong. The guidelines and the way they use it, they actually use it to bring the team closer together. So it can be done.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Well, we can follow up with some more resources again that PCA has developed around supporting that positive social media environment. And Brandon was just saying great stuff. So Brandon, we always see you joining from Toronto, so we appreciate you tuning in, as well as all the other people. We'll be back next week for another episode of Tips and Tools. And until then, please don't hesitate to reach out to us via Messenger or through our website if there are other topics that you'd like to see PCA address. And Ruben, as always, thank you so much for your expertise, and we will be back again soon. So hope everyone is staying healthy, staying safe, and we look forward to seeing you again soon.
Thank you, Casey. Thanks, everybody.
Bye, guys.